Hello and welcome to the newest episode of Borderline Podcast Disorder. Um, it happens for this to be the episode for the Mental Health Awareness Week this year. So I hope you enjoy it. But as I mentioned last week, I hope you treat every episode of this podcast as if it's Mental Health Awareness Week. Um, that would be something that I would really like. Um, Sorry, it's very distracting because Sarma and Pickle are next to me and they're just playing around. And Sarma is chasing something that seems like it doesn't exist because I can't see it, but she thinks she does, or at least she does see this thing that she's very focused on. But anyway, okay, she's run away now. Yeah, no, my week has been the past week has been busy, which feels like it's a trend, and I'm actually looking forward to this week as um, if you're listening on the date that this is coming out, which is Monday the 12th of May. I'm only working a couple of days this week, and I'm looking forward to a break. Although I have some uni work to do. The last assignment and the last test is at the end of the month before the summer holiday, and I've got a couple of things to wrap up for that. I am super excited. I'm very happy with the guest for this week. Um, the conversation that I had with Tev was amazing. We gigged maybe like a month ago, I think, or something like that, in Clapham, and it was a pleasure to meet him. It was amazing to then yeah, just like chat with him and be able to have him on the podcast. He's a super interesting guy, and he's been he's been wonderful to talk to, and he's been very vulnerable at times as well. Like we've discussed things I actually didn't even expect that we would cover, and that was pretty cool. And I'm quite grateful for that. And I'm excited for you folks to listen to it and tell me what you think. Um, I've noticed, which was quite nice, that the reels that I posted about the last episode with Val went quite well. Went like I would say like surprisingly well on social media. I got some very good response. I got a couple, again, a few more people listen than usual. I don't know if it's people who um, saw the podcast basically because of Valeria's socials, or is because the reel worked. But no, you're super nice to see that, to see the little spike up on the listeners. And again, if for anyone who's got any either stories that they want to share, if you want to be a guest in this podcast, message me or email me. My social media is on the bio, and my email address is also through my like link tree on Instagram, for example. And yeah, also if you have any suggestions, if you have anything like that, I'm happy to listen or read if you want to put it in writing. um, Either way, that's cool with me. But yeah, anything else? It's been a little bit stressful, a bit of a, again, stressful week, and I feel super tired, as I mentioned before, and I feel like that's it's a big difference from the tiredness that I felt at the end of last year, for example, or the beginning of this one. And it's May already. It's like the fifth month of the year, which I think is it's a bit insane, quite unexpected, or the time flies. Because the fatigue that I felt at the beginning or at the end of last year, um, it was very much caused by the depression and the sadness that I was going through. And I didn't want to do much. I was feeling tired without making any physical effort. Well, now I feel like I'm in the position where I move around a lot, I work a lot, I manage to go to the gym as well. And it feels almost like is the good kind of tiredness, but I still don't want to overdo it. I think I've mentioned before where something that I'm trying to, or like I'm working on, is just this sort of acknowledgement of where I'm at, and acceptance of where I'm at. And that's what I was saying, that, for example, this week I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to relax a bit more. Um, I've got my birthday during the week. I don't necessarily celebrate it, but there are some things that I'm looking forward to. I think me and my partner are gonna spend the evening on Thursday. She's got a surprise for me, which is something that I'm very much looking forward to. And then besides of that, honestly, I got the Saturday off, which is my actual birthday, and I just want to relax. I want to chill. Um, I think besides of going to service at the synagogue nearby, I have no intentions on doing anything else. Maybe if Irene is off, we might go to a restaurant and have some dinner, but that's it. Otherwise, nothing else. And I feel like with this in mind, I'm just gonna let you enjoy the conversation. I'm gonna let you enjoy the interview with Dev, because again, it was a great chat. It was so some things that we talked about were totally unexpected. I did not think, although again, I keep saying this. I don't script the podcast. I don't have an agenda for the podcast. So pretty much everything that's happening during an episode of the podcast, it's stuff that I just came up with, or like things that we happen to talk about. But then the level to which I got to know Tev, it's something that I didn't even think that would happen, and which is quite lovely. And also, he's got. I was saying this to him, that his voice is amazing. I feel like I could listen to him even if he says just random words in random order. I would probably still be very entertained by it. But he didn't just say random things in random words in random orders. He actually answered my questions, and yeah, it was just a great conversation. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed doing it. And that's enough from me. So now you're going to listen to the chat with Tev, and then we'll catch up before we wrap it up. Thank you and enjoy. And if you're not ready.
Oh, yeah. We're just going to
Okay,
go.
yeah.
Is my mic on this too?
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry. You want to hear?
No, bro. I trust you. It's your podcast, bro.
Cool. But yeah, again, I don't. Yeah, no, it is. It's working. I promise you.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna use this. Like that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, Tevin, thank you so much, bro. Thanks for doing this.
Nah, thanks for having me, bro.
That's all right. How are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm all right.
You know what? You said something earlier where you were like, oh, sometimes you do a gig. Like basically, when we talked before I started recording, and you're on stages, you were like, people just listen to you. You feel like sometimes people just listen to you because you're like, you've got an American accent.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. Like I am. I feel like as soon as I pressed record and as soon as I started, like, because obviously I was listening to our conversation before, but I was like trying to get this sorted, and
right.
And now when I'm like solely focusing on
on me,
your voice, I'm like, wow.
It's a powerful weapon, man. It works. It works really well to command an audience. I think it helps out a lot.
It's one of the things that, I mean, again, look, I think I struggled with a lot when I started, because I don't. I used to rush through words a lot more. Like I feel like now I'm much more like well spoken.
Yeah.
So actually to have that from the get go, where people are just like, what?
exactly.
Just whatever you say, they know you said it.
Yeah, it helps in making people laugh if they can understand what you're saying, bro.
I think that.
I think that's one of the rules.
I hope, yeah, you hope so. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
one of the biggest hopes in life. But yeah, so what you been up to?
Bro, just gigging, man. Just up and down London, outside of London. I'm doing. I did Liverpool recently. I'm down in Folkestone.
How was
I'm
that?
everywhere. You know what? Folkestone was was so much more fun than I thought it would be. Because you hear about towns outside of the UK, and they're like, I don't know, being black out there is not.
Okay.
But it was the gig itself was so much fun. Shout out to 101 Comedy, and if you guys are ever in Folkestone, go check it out. But
Really?
it was so much. The crowd was just up for every. When you get outside of London, you feel like you can really say anything. Like you're not worried about being canceled.
Yeah,
You bring up everything. I brought up and they were just down. They were like, talk about it more. It was fucking great, man. It was fucking great.
Man, this is the thing though. Like because I did a gig in Essex on Friday last week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very relevant for this because it's not coming out now. But no, I did a gig in Essex, and yeah, like you forget how refreshing actually. I find it so refreshing when you do it. Although again, I love the audience in London. Again, I'm very grateful for everyone
Absolutely.
who supports comedy. But like when you go outside and you're like, people actually want you to push the boundaries.
Yeah. I think inside of London, there's a much more conscious crowd. They're much more cultural. They're much more, and that's fun. I love figuring out how to make those people laugh.
Yeah,
and that's the job, right? I think outside of London, they don't give. They've been working all day. They haven't been watching the news. Like they don't care about none of that shit. They are like, bro, come tell me what I need to know is funny, and they're just up for it. So it's great.
And I feel like this is the thing where. Again, with no, because again, I absolutely love I love the Southend-on-Sea people, but it was kind of like when you do this gig. And how long have you been in London, in UK for?
I've been in UK since July 2023, so almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Like there is sort of like an audience that they have like drugs and like they have coke. On them,
yeah.
And it's almost like you. Now your quest, like the way I see it, is that my quest is I don't actually know if I should have said drugs on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll find out.
Believe it.
Yeah, but then you know that like my quest, or I know that my quest now is to make sure that they don't go to the toilet while I'm on stage, because that means I'm more powerful.
You're better than drugs.
Yeah,
that means you're better than what that's. And you know what? I think there's two different types of drug users too in these British crowds, right? There's the young, cool, hip, probably on ketamine drugs, and then there's like the geezer, coked out crowds, right? And those geezers, keeping them in their seats, it's
crazy.
That's when you're really commanding the room, bro.
So I feel like that's the thing. It's like I feel like the fine line between. I think those are the biggest challenges. Like you said, one of them is making people in London, laugh, because again, you want to make sure that you're threading, the lines carefully.
Yep.
But then it's also for the big guys.
Yeah.
You gotta balance it out. But yeah, how was Liverpool? I haven't been in ages.
You know what? Liverpool might be, and I was telling people this a lot. Liverpool might be the best city I think I've been to. Just outside of America, outside of obviously Philly, New Orleans, like, Nashville, those are all great. LA, San Diego, I love my American cities. Liverpool is what everyone in America thinks London is.
Why?
Right? It's got the indie boy bands, it's got the people walking around with the cuts, it's got the music street for the Beatles, Matthew Street, right? You're there, like you can just walk down the street and there's live music and that's what so when we're watching movies and stuff about London, we see Big Ben. And then we see that, like we see that. That's all the. That's what
movies did you watch?
Like if you're watching like Queen, whatever. If you're watching even what else is there, like Pink Panther. If you the movies we normally get are normally like music.
Yeah,
docs
got
and
it,
stuff.
got it.
And we're like, oh my god, that's London. You can just walk into a bar and catch somebody and discover the Beatles. That's awesome. Can we? And so you get to London and you find out London's so spread out, and they don't have. The streets and bars that they have in Liverpool, you would have to pay so much to get in if they were in London. True. And they would be lines around the corner. Like London's not really built for that type of environment.
Yeah.
I just really like Liverpool and the people, bro, are so nice.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been in the UK. I've been in London too long, but people are talking to you on the train. people are like, you walking through, hey, I really like your sneaks, bud. Like you're like, oh, okay, you're going to rob me now. Like it's not.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like,
yeah.
okay, I hope that ends here.
I think London conditions you to like people shouldn't talk to you, but like on a sunny day in Liverpool, people will sit right next to you, have a pint, and strike up a conversation in Liverpool. You're like, what? This is not how it works in London. I thought, silly me going to a city and thinking that city was like how all the UK was represented. And it's not, bro. People are nice in the north, man. They were nice, and that is very different.
Very good, very cool.
Yeah.
I grew up in Manchester, so
okay. So you probably used to it then.
Yeah, well, I liked it a lot. I feel like I don't know. In one hand, I like the friendly. The people up north are way friendlier. That's for sure. I think that's a standard.
Yeah.
But I also feel like because it's you get like less crazy. Like when you like up north, like I think you get like fun crazy. You get like 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 drunk lady in the train.
Yeah, like let's party.
At night crazy.
Love party crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's fun.
Yeah,
but you don't in London. You can like get people like I remember like sometimes I open the door like it's still happening. Where like I get people trying to like make me like join a church. Or like if you speak with someone, you almost feel like if someone speaks to you in London for no reason, because actually I think this was the thing when I first got here, where like people would start talking to me, and then within basically there were people like begging for money, and but then they would do it like 10 minutes later, and I'm like, well, now you wasted your 10 minutes and you wasted my 10 minutes,
and people walked by. You could have got other people.
Yeah, and then this is the thing. While in Manchester it's kind of like people are just the whole like levelness of. We're nice, and also I feel like and especially I think in Liverpool as well, they love to take a dig at London, so they will do anything.
Yeah, they do not like this. You know what? They don't really. It was so funny because I walked into a pub in Liverpool, and everyone was white. Obviously, it's just fucking Liverpool, and I was kind of like. I don't want to say nervous, but I was kind of like, in America, I never want to be in a place where everyone is one thing.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't want to be in a place where everybody's black. I don't want to be in a place where everybody's white. I don't want to be in a place where everybody's Asian. It just feels weird. It feels weird. Give me some diversity. But then I had my UCLA sweater on, and this guy was like staring at me, and I was talking to my friends. I was like, "Yo, this dude's staring at me." And it's like, "Oh, why is that a problem?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Bro." He doesn't care you're black. He cares that you're fucking American. Like, that's why he's staring at you. And I was like, oh, shit. And then, lo and behold, struck up a conversation later, and he was like, yeah, no, we America, huh? And we started talking about it, and I was like, okay.
The thing is, like, I've heard... So someone from Liverpool told me a few years ago that... Because actually, because you're like, oh, as a black person walking to like a bar, you're like, oh... Yeah. But then actually, someone from Liverpool told me this, which in one hand, I feel like, okay, I understand. They were very like persecuted historically, like people from Liverpool.
Yes.
But then some from Liverpool once told me that they are the black people of...
That's not the first time I've heard
England.
That. I'm not going to lie. That's not the first time I've heard that.
That's what I was going to say. Like, look, I want to understand. I'm like, okay, no, again, you've been persecuted, fine. But I love the analogy of like, we're technically, like, I remember speaking with someone about, I think it was actually like the BLM movement started, and someone was like, like me as someone from Liverpool, I understand. I understand.
That's great.
And I was like,
I don't think you can say that, but no. You know what is so crazy? I actually love it when other races or other cultures like identify with black people. Like I'm like, that's fucking dope, bro. Keep doing it. I don't love it when it's a serious thing. Yeah. Like if there's like BLM, like okay, let us have our moment. Like, relax. But I love when it's just like, no, fucking, we like to dance. And I am not gonna lie, I was in Liverpool. There's a lot of girls twerking. A lot of girls. There's a bunch of people rapping and shit. People with hands on the floor, ass in the air. I said, okay. Maybe y'all are black, bro. Maybe y'all are. Not that I'm relegating my culture to twerking and dancing, but
No, but I agree. There are lines. Like, that's the thing. There are certain situations when you can do this, but I just thought, again, in that context, I was like, I'm pretty sure, I know you're trying to tackle this from the right perspective. Yeah. But it doesn't sound
It doesn't sound right. Hey, look, I never punish people for ignorance. I just try to correct them, and then I let them live their life, bro, because...
Well, this is again another thing because actually, we were talking about when we actually, what? Before I ask you, I was going to ask you about the thing about like the people in Romania like using the N word sometimes like casually, not thinking about it. But again, let's address that later because first I want to ask you a bit more about like you. So you came in here 2 years ago.
Yep.
Almost 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago.
Is it for comedy? Like, was that your intention, or did you just want to like try something else outside of the United States?
No, so we went on. I'm a TV writer originally by trade, and we went on strike in LA. Do you remember the big strike?
Yeah, of course.
So while the strike was happening, my agent ended up getting me a job over here on a TV show that I won't name, and it was cool. And I got over here, and the cops don't have guns. And I was just like, I'm fucking staying, dude. Like, I don't like. What do you mean the cops don't have guns? What, do you got to beat me in a fight if you want to? Okay, I like my chances. I like my chances on that one. No, it was just look. It was a beautiful country. I came during the summer, so I was blessed, right? And it was a decent summer. So it was like, man, this city is great. Sun's out. Everyone's like outside. Boom, boom, boom. Wasn't prepared for the winter at all. Wasn't prepared for the winter at all.
Right.
But I you just grow to love it, man. London's one of those cities that just grows on you.
But what? Because sorry, go on.
I was gonna say then while I was because I was kind of locked into this like the show I was on put a really bad taste in my mouth about TV writing in London. Also the way it's set up, you guys just don't get fucking paid over here enough to really sustain that. You don't really have unions. You don't have anything. Like there's not like deals. Not a bunch of writers' rooms. It's just a lot of I could talk for an hour just on the entertainment industry alone in London and why a bunch of people are coming over here to take advantage of it because it's really like a gig economy here and.
Really?
Like, this is essentially, that's why all the movies and shit are getting moved over here because it's so much easier to take advantage of low rates, low fares. There's no unions. It doesn't matter. We can come do whatever we want. If you want the job, no. If you don't, there's the next guy that'll come do it. Like, so it's not.
No way.
Yeah, it kind of sucks here. But that's why you can put out so many shows here. Have you ever noticed there's a million shows going out?
Yeah.
You can never do that in the States because you would have to pay a writer's room. You have to pay 6 writers each time at least.
Right.
And they would have to have their 23-week contracts. You can't fire them. Then you have to, if you want to do that, doing that fucking 25, 30 times over, that adds up. BBC has 30 new shows out this month, I think. It's like, but if you get one guy that can sell shows here, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I decided I didn't want to do it. Started doing stand-up, beat the King Gong or whatever pretty early on, and then it just... But I was already writing comedies and stuff, so I always knew how to tell a joke.
Right.
So I kind of had a head start in that department. I didn't need to relearn how to write structure and tell a joke.
Yes.
I knew exactly how to do that. Then it just became about presence, storytelling, like, oh, okay, this is a story I want to tell today. Let me break this down. And then it just, obviously being American helps, being very unique and having the perspective of a unique American, right? Like I don't just come over and complain about English things or English food, even if it does suck. I don't complain about all that stuff. I just like kind of tell my stories. And it's like people want to get to know you, so it works.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the thing about the because actually, you know what, I always hear about how, well, again, I guess in other respects it's much more difficult to have like at least like day jobs and stuff like this in America. I know that actually I think, because I know, like, for example, with the minimum wage and healthcare and stuff like this, it's much better here. But I didn't, or at least so I've been told. I've not worked one day in America, which I'm very.
It's cheaper to live here. And
as
because
well.
It's so much cheaper to live. No, I mean, like, you don't have to pay for healthcare. You don't need a car. You don't need car insurance. Like, just the big things are so much cheaper. Then you can give people those low salaries. Like, people are happy with $2,000 a month here. And I think you die in America on $2,000 a month. Like, I don't think you make it. Like, that's
really,
you can't rent anywhere. Your rent's going to be that. Even if you do rent a shoebox, you still got to eat. You need a car for transportation. And if you get the car, you need car insurance. Don't get a ticket and don't fucking get sick. Because now that hospital bills come in, and now it's so quick to, you need the money. That's why the salaries are so high, but the cost of living is way higher.
Right, I see. Okay, and then so now we're again. You let's go even further back in time.
Yeah,
because you were talking about like you were in Los Angeles, or like in California, in LA.
Yeah.
How long were you in LA for? Because you're from Philadelphia originally.
Yes, originally from Wilmington, Delaware, Philly, then over to LA. I was in, so to give the whole story. So Wilmington, Delaware, and Philly are just 20 minutes away, right? So everyone's there. Everyone's Eagles fans. Everyone happens. My grandmother had a house in Philly. My mom then moved to Delaware, and that's kind of where I did high school and stuff. And then I went back as an adult. and then I joined the military and went to DC, and then I went to San Diego, and then I spent all the time in the military and all the different shitty parts of the world. Well, I don't want to say shitty, sorry. The hotter parts of the world, right? The deserts and whatnot. And then after I got out of the military, I went to UCLA for a screenwriting program. And then,
Oh, interesting.
and that's when I started hanging out in LA.
Oh, so that okay. So when you had the UCLA jumper in Liverpool, is
Yeah.
because you went to
I
uni
went to
there.
UCLA. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Because
yeah.
I have one from. I actually have from. I think the Winnington or something like that. UNCW. Wilmington. Yeah, I have a UNCW
Okay.
jumper, but I've not been to UNCW.
no.
I just got a jumper.
I've been to UCLA, man. Go Bruins.
Yeah?
That's my team. It's
So,
much fun.
well, now, what made you even like get into the writing program?
Well, you know what? It was pretty awesome. When I was coming to get out of the military, because we just had we'll just call it a difference of opinions on the way my life was going to be the next couple of years. And I was coming up to re-enlist and stuff. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was coming up to re-enlist and stuff.
Right.
And I was just like, no, I don't want to. And then my sister
Yeah.
entered me into a screenwriting competition.
No way.
And it was just like, write a scene, describe a scene, do whatever. So she kind of always knew that I
Yeah.
had that creative brain. I won it, which was great, which got me in touch with the manager. And then he ended up vouching for me to go to the screenwriting program at UCLA.
Right.
So when I got out, I kind of already had connections. I was like, I'm going to LA, baby. Went to LA, and it honestly really worked out. I was in LA for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And it was a great time. But all good things come to an end because right when I started getting my own show
Yeah.
and my own things popping, we went on strike. And I was like, well, I got to earn money. I can't just
Yeah.
sit here and not make anything. And then I popped over to London.
Interesting. But then, I mean, there is quite a lot of stuff that I want to ask you, but I still want to I'll adhere to perhaps in my head it's like a chronological order.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about how your sister was like, you know what, I'll like again, I'll put your name down for this.
Yeah.
So then, is that because were you like as a young adult or like as a child before going to the young adult before you go into the army?
Yep.
Were you a creative person or like were you showcasing or were you like just a goofy? You know what I mean? Like were you just? Did she think that you would be like good for I guess like comedy? Because was it comedy writing by the way? Did you say
No, it was just a scene.
Oh,
That
just a
one was
scene. Okay.
any scene. So I was always a creative kid. I wrote a play when I was 12.
Oh.
Famously, I titled it "A Play." My mom has a picture of me sitting next to
Nice.
it. It won some award or something. It's really cool.
You should have got copyrights for that name.
Should have, man. We would have been rich right now. No, I think I've just always been good at storytelling, man. I've always been good at making people laugh. So I believe it or not, was ugly in high school, right? I was a skinny kid with a big old head. No girls really wanted to talk to me. Like I didn't have it. So I had to be funny, right? Because
Okay.
my older brother was like the cool guy. He's only 2 years older than me.
Right.
Coolest kid in town. You can't really do anything that. And my older sister was only 1 year older than me and born on the same day. Very popular girl, right? But
Interesting.
I was, I'm the baby of the family. I'm trying to find my own. So yeah, I think I was always kind of cracking jokes or trying to bring people in, trying to figure out where I fit. But I guess I didn't. I think it was always funny, but my brain was always just a little bit faster on the comebacks, right? Like just a little bit quick.
Nice.
Now I realize it's probably just ADHD, like every other comedian has. But I was always, and then
Sometimes it helps.
sometimes it definitely does help. And then I was saying I started reading screenplays, kind of fell in love with just the
Interesting.
art of film writing, and I
Right.
was like, yeah, I think I could do this. Like everyone, I'm that guy. I'm that annoyingly brash guy that picks up something and is like, I could do this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
hey, you give me 3 months. I'm a firm believer. You give me 3 months at anything, I'll know how to do it at the end of it.
No way.
I just believe I have that kind of confidence in myself.
Were you always like this?
No, it didn't start until after the military, or actually
Right.
in the military, because the military was the first place where I hadn't failed anything. None of the tests, none of the physical tests, none of the fighting, none of the shooting, didn't fail a single thing. And I was like, yeah, if you train me and I'm interested in it, I will fucking do it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was fun.
That makes sense. But then, question here. As someone who used to, because my cousins were like really cool when I was growing up, but then they wouldn't tell because I was actually a very what do you call it? I was a good like grades wise, like school grades wise. I was
Yeah.
very good, but I was not popular at all. So then my cousins used to like basically like pretend that they're not my cousins when we were going out. Did you have the same thing with your brother?
No, my brother he was my biggest fan before I even knew I
Oh,
was anything.
man.
My brother, if anyone even
I'm
thought about
jealous.
messing with me, he would find a way to jump off the top rope. And
Oh no, the thing is with the messing, yeah, I've never got like bullied or anything like that because he would
Yeah.
always make sure that
Yeah.
people know that we're related, but he wouldn't.
Yeah, wouldn't let anybody.
Yeah, he wouldn't let anybody know how related we are. Like we would, like have like Friday night dinners together and
Yeah.
shit like this.
Yeah.
But then on Saturday or like Sunday, I'd like wave at him and it'd be like.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, yeah, I remember at one point someone tried to, because I used to collect stickers of like footballers for
Okay.
I don't know if you have them in America for like football albums.
Yeah.
Like those Panini albums. Yeah, so I used to collect those, and then this older kid wanted to like beat me up to get
Shake
some
'em.
of my like premium stickers, and then my cousin made sure that didn't happen.
Oh yeah.
But he was still like, you don't mess with that kid. And I was like, the guy was like, why? What's wrong? I was like, just don't mess with him.
He still didn't
Tell
say
him,
it.
bro.
Tell him,
Yeah.
I'm your cousin.
Yeah, because I'm like, yeah, I'm his cousin, and then people will be like, sure.
Sure you are. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So he
Play
even,
cousins?
he even like went to the depth of like, if that guy tells you we're cousins, we're not cousins.
Yeah, that's
But anyway,
too
that's
funny.
I'm a bit jealous, but that's actually quite nice. to
Yeah,
hear
no,
about
I
it.
love my big brother, man. He's always my family. I think the reason I'm able to do or have that confidence to do everything is because my family's always supported everything. Not in the way of like, if I ever need anything, I know I can go to my family. I have that to fall back on. Now they will talk shit. That is what they do. My whole family talks shit,
Fair.
right? Like my mom, I think before my first show ever, told me to my face she didn't think I was funny. And I was like, all right, well, I gotta get on stage now, Mom. I don't know if this is gonna work, but she, she always believed in me, but she thought my type of funny was too, like, she was scared of what people would think of me
I got it.
because of
Yeah.
what I was trying to say. She didn't know that I knew how to like really write a story. Because writing TV. I mean, we had just left a film festival for a TV show I wrote, and that was a comedy show. So I was like,
Yeah.
obviously I'm funny enough to write these words. But she
Yeah.
was like, oh, now you're on stage saying crazy shit. Like I don't want to. But she's great. It's all
Well,
great.
I get it. I feel like again. I remember when like my mom was around. It was easy to. Again, she would be the same thing of like this like very like loving and like supportive person.
Yeah.
But then in the other hand, and I think this happened a lot with jokes. I would come up with like these jokes and she'd be like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why
Yeah.
not?
Yep.
And then I'd be like, let me try again. Sadly, she didn't get to see it, but I think she'd be proud of my shitty little Romanian jokes.
You know what? That's the secret with parents, right? They're always proud.
Yeah.
They worry about you, right? They're just like, I don't want people to not like my son. My mom actually gave me a whole list before my second show. She was like, you can't talk about homeless people. You can't talk about, don't talk about white people. Don't talk about black people. And I was like, Mom, that's my whole set.
Why have you got left?
Nah, she's great. Though.
Yeah.
She's great. Super supportive now. I don't even have to. It's
Have they? Were you able to like get them to see you live?
Yeah. So they came and saw me at the Hollywood Comedy actually when I
Very
went
nice.
back to LA for a bit. So they all flew out. That was really nice, and they got to see me. And she's seen me in Philly too. So she's
No way.
yeah, man. We're doing good things. She's very proud. People come up and ask her questions all the time. She gets to be that like D-list celebrity
Yeah,
mom. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Where it's
yeah.
like, oh, I remember that someone asked her a question in front of me. I was, oh, did you always know he was gonna do this? And she was like, well, I've always been proud of him. And I was like, yeah, you
That
deserve.
answered the question.
Yeah. That's a good.
That's cool, mate. That's such a beautiful like wholesome moment. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, I love it. Whenever my family gets to see me, I'm excited. My only regret is they came out here, and I didn't have any shows lined up, and it was before I was like good
Like
enough to be
getting-
like, hey, can I jump on it?
Yeah.
So they went to the Comedy Store,
Right.
and I was like, no, the next time you come here, I'm gonna be playing the Comedy Store. Like I'm gonna make sure
I'll
that
be
they
there.
know it. Yeah,
Right.
because it was one of those feelings where it eats at you a little bit. Like now, if they were to come now, I would have known to set up my own. I would have did a whole hour. Like,
Yeah,
oh no,
yeah,
don't
yeah.
worry, guys. Just
Yeah.
but now it's cool. I was a baby comic over here anyway. I didn't even know what I was doing when they came because they came they came like 4 months into me being in London. So I had just barely started doing like open mic, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
take him to like a G&B or something, you know. Like that's
yeah,
not
they're
what I
like,
deserve.
are you okay?
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
like, why are you?
do
There's
you
a
want to
lot
come
of
back home?
there's so many people with ADHD in this room. What is
What sort of hospital do they have?
yeah. Does everyone in England are they British or autistic? Like no. It's true, man.
It's a different version of it's like no, this is the healthcare. This is the NHS.
This is actually NHS
sponsored
when they leave,
comedy
they go to
night.
therapy. No, this is a sponsored therapy.
Oh my god, man! But that's such a wholesome moment. Like sometimes I feel, you know what? One of the regrets I think I have with some of my family, not everyone, that they don't speak English.
Ooh.
So like you know,
Do you speak Romanian?
yeah.
So have you ever done comedy in Romania?
I've done it once.
Or was it good? Or
Was okay for as given the fact that I've only done it once.
Yeah,
was,
okay.
I'd say by that standard was okay.
yeah.
Like I got the feedback that I got after the show. It was quite nice actually. It was you know Radu Isak? Yeah. So basically Radu did a Romanians Are Coming show in Northampton, and then basically it was me and two other comics opening or like basically like warming up the crowd for him. And then I think I did like it was between 7 to 10 minutes. I think I did maybe like 8.5 or something like this. And again, it was interesting. It was quite hard because like I had to think of stories that I can translate or things that I can do in Romanian, you know?
Yeah.
And without even like, I don't really watch Romanian comedy, if I'm being honest as well.
Right.
So again, it was, but I thought it was pretty difficult. But after the show, and even like looking back, because I've used the video to just like put it like on social media, because I was like, I'm not gonna use this again. Or like again, even if I go to Romania, I'm probably going to try something else, or I want to do a better version of this.
Right.
So anyway, here it is. So it's actually like a public video, and also I'm gonna send it to my family.
Oh,
and I was
nice.
like, and they were like. It was like because I have a story when I was like I don't know if I've done it when we gig together when I almost like got stabbed.
No.
And well, I had this bit and my family was like, "You almost got stabbed. Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm talking about something that happened 5 years ago."
Yeah. Also, listen to the joke.
Yeah, I'm like, "Yes,
was
I'm
it
okay."
funny?
Yeah.
Like, did you laugh first, or were you worried about me first?
No, they're pretty much like good, bad,
Yeah,
good,
man.
not good.
No, that's beautiful. Good, bad, good, not good.
Yeah, those are the standards that we live by.
Yeah, I don't know if you. I like posting jokes on the internet because so much of my family and friends just aren't here.
Yeah, of course.
And I used to only post stuff. I was like, okay, well, I'm never going to use this, or it's really old. Now, if I come up with something I think it's really funny, I'll burn it. Like I'll be like, I don't care. Just
But
get it out there.
I even think that you know what? Because what I found is now because like some of the this is going on a different side, but it's okay. We got time.
Yeah.
I feel because I always heard this thing of like, oh, you gotta like not burn your material. But the thing is, technically and like practically, I think the most likes or views that I've got like on a video is about like I want to say like I think 5,000 on one video.
Nice.
Like 5,000 likes, which is great.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, there are still most of those likes are from a country that are probably not going to, at least not recently.
Yeah.
And then even what I've noticed from friends or like people that I know or like people who know me actually from London that I then do shows with, or like I do a show and they're on a crowd or whatever. They're like, oh, I do remember that bit. But the thing is, because I don't remember the whole setup, like it's still surprising because you're almost like, oh, I heard this thing on the internet. However, I don't know when it's coming.
Yeah.
So you can still, you know, catch people. So I have mixed feelings with that. I'm like, you know what? If it's now, like you said, it's good. I want to share it with the world. I want, you know, people.
That's what it's for. I like posting the first half of jokes, like the first punch, because my jokes are always like there's a bigger punchline.
Yeah.
But I'll post the first one that gets like the big laugh, and I'll be like, okay. And then when people will come see it, they'll think even if they do remember, they'll be like, oh no, I know this joke, but they don't know the big punch is coming, and then they're like, oh my god, that's so much funnier than what's online. And I was like, okay,
that's what I sometimes again I'd say as a standard that's what I do as well, because I have this way of writing where it's like I want to do I call it hooks. I got it from Nate Bargatze because I listened to a podcast when I started doing comedy by him.
Yeah.
And it was this thing of like you write a big story, you want a good punchline at the end, but the thing is you don't want that time in between to have no laughs.
Yeah.
So you just get little hooks in between to keep people engage and like laughing from time to time. So then that's the thing, like I would take the first or the second one without giving away the rest. So like that 30 seconds is actually a 30 second out of like a 3 minutes bit.
Exactly.
So you still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds that you haven't seen.
Yeah, I
Stuff
write
like
jokes the same way. I write jokes the same way I write TV. It's all in 3 acts. The first act, you're gonna think you know what's going on, but it's all set up. But there's punchlines there. Then the second act is like, oh no, we're going in a different direction than I thought. And then the third act is like, how the fuck did we get here?
Yeah.
And now we're talking about Kanye West. We were just talking about your dad. Like, you know, it's just like you gotta write. I try to tell people that too. It's always write your jokes in 3 acts, man. You'll never be, and then you won't forget them.
Interesting.
People forget there's so many people writing on their hands and shit, all that
Yeah.
shit. It's like, okay, if you write it like it's a story, you can go up and you can tell it like it's a story. A lot easier to remember. That's why I always write my jokes in 3 acts.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know.
That's
I
a
might.
secret.
Well,
That's my secret, man. That's
not
that's
anymore.
Not anymore. The world knows now. If you want to be a comedian, you still got to apply it. Still got to be funny. You still got to have a little bit
yeah.
of you on it. You know.
I feel like sometimes it's like, oh, the secrets of being a comedian, and the biggest secret is be funny.
Be funny and
which
be
is
unique.
Usually not in the book.
Yeah. I am going to write a book. It's going to be 2 words. Just be funny.
Just be funny. Be funny.
2 words,
be
2
funny,
pages. Just be funny. Be funny.
I thought you're just gonna have be funny, just like
just
written.
everywhere. Just,
yeah, everywhere.
I might get that. I'll get that tattooed on my hand soon.
That's a good knuckle.
It would be. I was gonna get it like here somewhere, so when I'm holding the mic, it could be like, "Oh, be funny," or like, "Haha."
Yeah, but I wrote my set. Oh, be funny.
That's actually a funny bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you did that would
Nice.
be like, it's, oh, people are looking at. I was writing on my hand. They think I'm a junior comedian. No, it just has to be funny. It's just motivational for me. People would laugh.
Yeah, like your parents love you.
You're good at this. You know, you've been doing it for a while.
Keep going.
Please don't kill yourself on stage.
Yeah, it's like you got to bring her for tomorrow. So we're going too technical.
Yeah, too technical. Too technical.
Right now, bro. So you've done the like when at what point did you decide that you want? Because obviously, like you've been a creative kid. You wrote a play at 12, very popular, world-renowned. A play,
world-renowned title.
So you wrote a play at 12, a play called A Play at 12.
Yeah.
But then, when did you decide that you're going to? Because I know we tapped on this. I think you might have to do something with your dad, right? About joining the military.
Yeah.
But yeah, like when or like how did that?
So I was never really good at school.
Right.
Couldn't get the grades to do the college thing. I wasn't interested.
Right.
In school, and again, it's the way my brain is. If I'm not interested in something, it's just not going to happen, right? And then so because I wasn't interested, I didn't get the grades to really make. So I had to do like community college and stuff first.
Right.
And I was getting lazy with that. I was like, oh, I'm just going to smoke weed and play Madden and just not doing it.
Nice.
Now my dad, being the Marine that he is, was like, no son of mine is going to just be on the couch all day. He's like, you're 18, you're going to the military. I was like, what? And he was like, and my mom was like, no. And my dad was like, well, I'm just going to take him down there and we're going to see what they say. Right. And we go down there and I take the ASVAB, which is like the military entrance like test to see how smart you are. I get a 98 out of 99 on the ASVAB, right?
What the fuck? Sorry.
First time in my life, I thought I was smart. I'm not even kidding. I was like, what the fuck? So then that kind of like turned me up too. I was like, hold on, what? And then I started talking to the guys. They're like, you can do whatever job you want in the whole, it was Navy at the time. They're like, you can do whatever job you want in the Navy. And I'm like, any job? And it was like, bro, you should go into Intel. I'm like, what? Intelligence? That sounds cool. What's that? And they tell me it's like, oh, it's just reporting to like the bosses, threats and stuff. I'm like, I can do that. Now, what I didn't know was they needed more black intelligence analysts, human analysts to go talk to the Arabs and talk to the Africans and talk to the, because white people are showing up to do it and it's not fun. I joined that and it was not at all just reporting to the fucking commander. I tell you that. It was a dicey game. It was a dicey game.
How long have you done it for?
I did it for 10 years. Man. 1828.
No way.
Craziness.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a madness, bro. I'm 33 now.
It's cool though.
No. Definitely cool stories. So many good military stories. The military is one of those things, man, where like you meet some of the best, worst people in your life, right? Like it's like, yo, your best friends are here. And he was probably a full-fledged racist before he joined here. But now I had one person tell me, he was like, you know, before you, I used to hate black people. I said, bro, what? He was like, yeah, I just never really met one before. And my dad was, you know, kind of a prick. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, but kind of, and I was like, yeah, no, the military is where I came into the conclusion that, yo, racism doesn't survive contact, right? Like, if you're racist, I think it's purely because you're ignorant of the fact of what that race acts. You don't know anyone, like, you've never had that interaction with them. So you're going off what you've seen on TV or what someone else said or some other story, right?
Yeah.
But like, once you meet people, I just don't think it's people are people. I think all around the world, people are people. And I've been all around this fucking world to the shittiest places, to the farthest place. I've sat across from people who didn't even speak English and was able to connect in a way. It's just people are people, man. Everyone's got the same basic needs. They want to take care of their family. They want to love who they love, and they want to have a little fun on the side, bro. People are people.
That's amazing, bro.
Yeah,
I know. I love like. I love like any sort of like military stories and stuff. Like I have family and friends who served, and I just again I find it really cool. I tried or like I was in a military college.
Yeah. Okay.
But then after that, there was like a family situation thing, and I ended up like dropping out. Actually, I ended up moving to England. But I feel like that's one. Well,
signing up during wartime is a crazy move. That my mom didn't appreciate that too much. But my dad, rest in peace. He was a great man. He was just like fucking. He won't go to war. 2 years in, our first deployment, I was like, Dad, you were wrong. You were wrong.
Has he been? Did he serve overseas?
Yeah, he was in Vietnam.
Okay, well, there
but
you
he
go,
was,
okay.
but he did, and his brother was in Vietnam. And then when we did our ancestry, we found out that like there's been a male member of my family in the military since every war since the Civil War. We were able to date it back to literally 17 to literally till 1860s. Yeah. So I think that's a point of pride for him, and honestly for me too. I'm glad I got to give him that before he passed. Like I think we had a good, and it made our relationship a lot stronger. You know,
if you mind me asking, when did he pass?
It's about 4 years ago now, I believe. 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
4 years. Oh, so that's before you were in London.
Yeah, before I was in London. I think I got out and just was going to UCLA at that time and kind of making those decisions of like, oh, I'm gonna stay in California, gonna do this, and then he got sick and just started to go.
Sorry about that, man.
That's all good. It's all
Yeah,
good.
I lost my dad as well, so I was just curious.
Yeah, he lived a full life, man. He was proud. He was happy.
Nice.
He was happy. He did everything. He said he was at the end. You know, this is his watch and stuff. He knew what he was doing, man. He is one of those good men.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like when you really think about it,
yeah.
it's like that's a fucking good guy. Because it's annoying because now you have that shadow cast, right? And you're trying to live up to someone who can't tell you that you're doing good enough. So you're constantly trying to do more. Like that's the pressure that's kind of left behind. It's like, oh, well now I feel like I need to be a husband or be a good husband and just to go be a good dad and like do all the shit that he was doing. And provide everything and do all this. But he's no longer there to be like, bro, you're doing fine. Like when I was fucking 30, I was a mess. Because we only see the finished product, bro. I saw my dad. My dad had me at 35, I think.
Right.
So by the time I can remember, he's 45. He's done.
Yeah.
He's the man he's going to be. We didn't see him grow and butt heads and fight with his girlfriends and shit. We didn't. So you need him to be there to kind of tell you that. But we just, it's still cool. It's still cool, right?
Oh man, I mean, again, I'm sure he would like absolutely love.
That dude was proud, dude. I could have passed a DUI test and walked in a straight line, and he would have told everyone down at the VA, like, "Hey, my son didn't get a DUI today." Talk about a dude that's proud of his kids. He was proud of his kids, and he was so proud of his wife, of my mom, bro. That's what everyone said, even when they came to the funeral and stuff. They were like, one thing about him, he loved his wife. And then you look at his wedding photos. You ever see somebody that was just so happy to be there through the photo? I don't think I had ever seen him smile with his whole mouth open until I looked at the photo. I was like, what's happening?
No way.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. It was great to have that example of like love and stuff too. That was a very pure, fun like thing to even like reminisce about and deal with and have. Like we still have that. So that's great. That's the stuff that stays behind.
Interesting. That's amazing, man. Interesting and also amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful.
Yeah. I hope, that's the thing. And then you start doing that. You hope you live up to it. You hope you find somebody that you care about that much because holy fuck, dude, that's a lot.
I think this is the thing. It's kind of like the standard, no? Where you like, not the standard, but almost like this sort of like bar where, you're does it say like if your definition of like love is like just being so happy being around someone and then it's like until you find that said someone
it's hard
it's hard and then you almost feel perhaps in certain moments you're kind of like why, like what's happening, why am I not whether is it like me, is it am I just like doomed, or is it just like that doesn't exist anymore, or all those sort of.
I think they say no matter how good your parents are, it always messes you up no matter what, just a little bit, right? Like even if you had a dad who just wasn't like, they weren't happy, they were angry, whatever, you're going to try really hard to not be that. So now every time a feeling of familiarity comes like that, you run. But if you have a dad or a mom that's like they're just great dancing around the kitchen Saturday mornings and stuff, if it's not like that, or even if it's not like that a little bit, you'll stay longer because you want to try to make it like that. But then second it's not, you're like, I gotta cut. And it's just like no matter what happens. And that's why you gotta like do the work and go to therapy and undo those ties and those strings that you and realize that all people are different people. I think again the biggest realization for me was realizing bro, by the time I started watching him do all that stuff, he was in his 40s. He was done. He didn't figure it out in his 30s. He didn't meet my mom until 31. And they didn't get married until 35. Like it wasn't like I'd be interested in how his 20s were. He's probably being a fuckboy running all around doing whatever. But I think at the end, he's one of the last men. Like he was such a good man. Where it's just like waking up at 4 a.m. to shovel snow if it snowed, and making sure my mom had a good path to the car. Like he was just like that man. And you try to instill that stuff in you too, but it's hard nowadays because the world is fucking. Everywhere you turn is telling you shouldn't be, right? Or like now chivalry can turn into misogyny. And you're just like, I don't even, not that I'm not making any excuses because the world does need fixing. I'm definitely not trying to step on those lines, but I'm just saying it's so hard to like be the way that he was, and still operate.
And because I think, but this is the thing with, it's actually quite funny because I remember this. This thing happened to me like a year or two ago. Where I opened the door for someone, and then I thought, oh my God, what if she thinks, like for a woman, I was like, what if she thinks that I'm like being misogynistic? So I walked.
Oh no.
I walked out, and then with the other door, I went like, oh, actually,
try to like kick
and now it looks even worse because it's like I'm holding the door from the outside, so it almost feels like I'm waiting to like hug her or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to disappear.
You just panic.
Like, I just remember that was like one of the worst experiences I've ever had. And it's true though,
And you don't know anymore. You don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm not complaining. I still operate the way that I think my dad raised me. Right. I try to be a gentleman. I try to be nice. If I offend people, I apologize. That's where I think it starts to come into like the problem. Right. It's where someone will be like, hey, that offends me. And then you're immediately told, oh, no, well, I was just trying to be nice. You're like, oh, no, my bad. I'd literally say, my bad. Hey, my bad. Or that's not who I am. I'm not trying to offend. I hold doors for people. I held a door for a man. If he was there,
No, it makes, I get it, because I feel like I agree. And I mean, this is not something that necessarily need agreeing with, because again, everyone can see it in a different way, but I do agree, and I also feel like because I think the one of the things I struggle with when it's like with people doubling down on like going no like I must be right, or like I must get up. I feel like this sort of idea of if I'm wrong, then it means that like I'm a bad person. It's like, no, like good people are wrong, bad people are right sometimes.
More times than not. One's president right now. So it's fucking, you got it right. You got it right.
Look, it's funny though. I sometimes like when you grow up and I don't know if this happened to you, but you're like, oh, I wonder what like my life as an adult is gonna be like. And if you would have told me that I'm gonna live the days that I'm living now when I was a child, I would have thought that again, it's a mental health, but I would have thought you're insane.
Yeah, bro.
I would have not believed that.
If you would have told me 6 years ago, I'd be living the way I'm. If you'd have told me when I signed up to the military, I was like, hey, this is going to lead you to be a stand-up comedian in London. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. I'm moving to fucking San Diego tomorrow. It's so, life, you just can't predict it, man. And that's the beautiful part about my journey, is that I have this overwhelming sense of like peace, almost like calmness, where I'm just like, hey, look, I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. I've been surprised so many times, so I would never pretend to be like I have all the answers. But I'm also I'm very okay with not knowing, and I'm very okay with being wrong, and I'm very okay with asking people to correct. Hey, teach me. I think people just don't want to be taught anymore. We're in this echo chamber world where like you can get online and validate whatever it is you fucking feel. All of a sudden, facts are being disputed, which that was just never a thing. It literally makes it not a fact is a fact. How can you change a fact? Like, I don't know. People need to be happier with themselves. I think.
But this is the thing as well, but it's kind of like one of the things that I'm most grateful, and it's something that I want to ask you and like touch on with touch on with you as well, is the thing that one of the things that I'm like most grateful about. Because I started when I got diagnosed with BPD, I started doing something called dialectual behavioral therapy, and it's basically the idea of it is just the fact that like two truths can happen simultaneously, and the idea of there is not like bad people and good people. There can be good people with bad traits, or like good people who do some bad things and bad people who do good things and stuff like that. And this sort of like realization that I can be wrong. And that's fine.
Yep.
I can just move on. Like, okay, I'm wrong. My bad. I move on.
Yep.
It's been amazing, and it's been something that's really changed my life. Because now, at times, I feel like I got to the point where I almost feel like in the past I would be the sort of person who was like, I don't want to be questioned, because then I will. It feels like my whole integrity, like everything about me is being questioned. If you question one thing, well, now I kind of feel like, sometimes I'm wrong, and that's okay. Again, I still believe in the other stuff.
I believe what I believe,
but if I was wrong, I was wrong.
Yeah,
fair enough. And I feel like the DBT helped me out a lot with that. But then you mentioned before about people like doing therapy and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Have you done therapy?
Yeah.
When did you? How did that happen for you? Was it? I guess was it mandatory?
Yes,
it was.
It was absolutely.
No way.
And I don't tell the story a lot, but I got a little bit of. I got a little bit of trouble, and the result was I had to go. I had PTSD pretty bad when I came back.
Holy shit, man! Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. From my second deployment, basically what it was is, and I can tell this part because it's fun. When we were in this country, it basically the standard operating procedure was before, if you saw a fire on the side of the road, you pull over, you put it out. Right. Like where we were, where we weren't supposed to be, but we were doing hearts and minds stuff, so it was fine.
Right.
Then the bad guys started knowing that, or the other guys started knowing that, and so they would set fires, wait for us to pull over, try to put it out, and then ambushes. So then it changed to, if you see a fire, speed up, speed through. Right. I get home. It's back in the days. I had a Mustang back in America, and I just wanted to drive. Like you just miss certain things about America when you deploy for that long. Yeah. I get home. I'm driving home. When I know it, there's a fire on the side of the highway. I fucking floor it, right? And I just don't. By the time I calm down, there's like 5 cop cars like behind me, stopping me. And fortunately, I'm still in uniform, like still in everything. When they came up to talk to me, I was like, I don't know. You try to explain it, but like with PTSD, your brain doesn't. You're almost not there, right? Like it's not. You were back there, right? So even when you're trying to explain, you're like, how the fuck did I get to California? So it's almost like you're in this dream state. And I think obviously went to court, had to deal with some stuff, and they were just like, you need to be in therapy. Also, I feel like it's kind of horseshit that they take you from wherever you are and they make you spend 10 days in Germany. That's your like, hey, let's make sure you're not crazy, and then they send you home. Only 10 days, 6 months. And of course, I'm not fighting about it, because look, when you're over there, you want to get home. So I'm like, I'll say, and I think that's the problem. I think everyone in there will say whatever they need to say to get home. So you're not really talking about therapists. You're not talking about people that were embedded with you. They're going over your missions on paper. They don't know what really fucking happened. Right. It's like, okay, how was this? Oh, okay, one casualty. Okay, did that affect you in any way? You're like, no, fine. Like, But then I went to a real therapist, and we really worked on some triggers and like avoiding them. I was medicated for a bit. Was able to get off of that, because I feel like with PTSD medicine, it stops you from feeling the other stuff too. And so I couldn't connect with people. Like I'm still trying to work, and I can't I need to connect with people to work. So then you almost stop taking it on your own, and that's way more dangerous. So you go back to therapy, and you're like, hey, look, I can't do my job correctly if I can't feel. Like I need to feel what the people are feeling. So what can we do about that? And then it all ended up working out. But yeah, the PTSD is one of those things you never know when it's going to come back. You don't know about the triggers, but it's like if you're educated about yourself and you do the work, you can hopefully get to the end. I have a lot of friends that didn't make it out of that battle, and that's always tough. But which is why I try to talk about it openly. I'm like, this is real, and it's not always, a fucking ceiling fan reminding you of a helicopter, bro. Sometimes it's just a piece of paper falling somewhere randomly, and it's messing up what you thought it was, and now you're back in that state. So yeah, certain things.
Yeah, this is the thing actually, because I had no idea about this, by the way. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that remind me of that, apparently there is a thing of like, there is a very lot of similarities between BPD and CPTSD.
Okay.
So sometimes people get misdiagnosed from one to the other.
Yeah. Okay.
I just thought that's interesting.
No, that is interesting. Mine's just PT. We were pretty firm.
Of course, no. I'm not. It's not about you particularly. I'm just saying that it's interesting that you're saying this, because
symptoms,
then now I was like, oh, like I've heard about like situations where, because again, like with the idea of like the borderline personality disorder is that the mood swings are
depression.
It's like, well, again, because the thing is, it can happen both ways. Like you can get overly joyous at the wrong time, or you can get like super. Again, depressed, anxious, angry. So basically, you feel stuff to the max, and you can go up and down very easily. And then sometimes, so like again, there is this. I was reading some stuff about it, but it was a couple of years ago now, so I can't remember precisely. But it was this idea of the not the correlation, but basically, because I think it's the same it's the same things that would is the same stimulus that you triggers, not stimulus, triggers, same triggers that you'd have for PTSD, then it would be on BPD as well. Because again, say like it's something happening, and then you relate that to something that's happened in the past
in your brain,
and then
you feel like you're there.
Yeah, like I used to have this thing where when I was in Manchester, and I used to go to the gym on a certain road, and then I remember once I got bad news about like my dad. And then I ended up not walking on that street again. Yeah. Because every time I was walking on that street, I would be like, I need to get off this street, because this is the street where I get bad news. And then, so again, I know it's not similar, and it's actually, there was like something else to do with that. But it's quite simple. I haven't thought about it in years. Yeah. And now when I heard you talking about your, this is wild, man.
Yeah, no, man. The brain is it's a complicated, powerful fucking thing, right? Like to the where you can think yourself out of sickness too. Like you can literally and you can also think yourself into it and the negative and all that stuff, man. I started getting into all of it because I was just like, I can't live like, and I know what a lot of my friends were feeling at the moment. Like I can't live. One, getting out of the military is such a tough thing because you lose the big sense of purpose and the immediate sense of gratification from like, oh no, I just did that. That's immediate, right? Like, oh, we caught that guy. Great, immediate. Like, you lose that, you lose the community because your boys are still all on base and leaving up and gearing up and going. You're home now with your family, who you never spent more than 6 months with, so you don't even really know. They don't know you either, and now you have to like pretend like. And then when your skills don't even translate to the outside world, like, so now you're working in a fucking Costco or a fucking Sainsbury's or whatever, trying to stack boxes, but you're just like, I was just fighting wars forever, bro. That stuff builds, and builds and builds and builds. It's heavy. I think everyone when they get out needs extensive therapy. Like you need to talk about that, and you need to find your community quickly, because if you don't, it gets so lonely, and your community can't be your family. Like it has to be people, like-minded individuals going through the same thing as you, transitioning with you, so you can stay on top of it, bro, because it's hard to stay on top of it sometimes.
And then because how long between you finishing, or like basically you like stopping, is it finishing or stopping? What's the better way to say it? Like
retiring,
when you retired, retiring from the army. What's the how long was the period between that and when you found out about like your sister signing you up for the writing course?
So it was the Navy. Navy does this great thing where they kind of let you hang out for like 6 or 7 months. So I was still getting a paycheck, right? But they were like, go do whatever you want to do. And I think like a month later, I went up to the writing thing, and then a few months later, signed up for UCLA's. Right. So I was luckily I was stationed in San Diego, so I could just pop up to LA. Oh, okay. Whenever I needed to. Okay. And come back and down. And then I was getting out with some good friends of mine too. We were all getting out at the same time, so we were able to like, kind of stay in contact. And one of them went on to be like a pretty good actor. No way. Yeah, we worked together on a lot of stuff, and so we had that. That also was locked in. Yeah, so we had some good times.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I got lucky. I tell you, at every turn of the way, I got lucky as shit, bro. Like, I have to be one of God's favorites. Like I'm one of like I've survived things I should not have survived. I am fucking like I couldn't walk for a year after one bad thing. It
No
was
way.
like yeah, bro. I had to get new ACLs and MCLs and PCLs, but I was able to go play basketball and stuff till after, like they would bring me all the way back, you know. And I'm just like, okay, it's fucking yeah. I know I'm one of God's favorites. Like and I think I just kind of keep that mindset where it's like, damn, God loves me, so I guess I gotta love me a little bit, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually quite beautiful to say as well. You know, when it's like, if he does, then why wouldn't you? You know?
I mean, because so much of it is luck, bro. So much of it is luck. Like almost all of it is luck. If my sister doesn't enter me into that, if I don't meet Sarah Ray at UCLA, if I don't do, then I don't get on the TV shows. If I don't do that, we don't go on. Even the bad things, were lucky breaks for me, right? Like, cause I wasn't the happiest person in LA. Like I just wasn't. I was but you don't know. You're distracting yourself because you're on that hamster wheel. You're just working.
Yeah.
And then when the strike happened, and I got to sit down and be like, "Yo, am I happy in the city?" No. And then you get an opportunity to come to London, and I'm like, "All right, well, fuck it. Let me go over there." Same time, one of my friends is moving to London from LA, so you don't even have to come here all by yourself. You're like, Bob, here you get since community builds again. I've just got lucky every sense of the way, bro. And then be able to talk to people in a way that they listen and react and respond and have something to say, bro. I'm forever blessed, I think.
That's really nice, man.
Yeah, I've also had like 7 lives in my 33 years on this planet, bro. Like, you know, like I can't complain. I can't complain.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say with that because I used to say that a lot during therapy, and then my therapist was like, "Yes, you can."
Yeah.
Which is
no, I absolutely
it's different.
I was gonna say I absolutely can and will complain, but I think I do it from a place of hopefully I'm doing it from a place of like gratitude for what has happened and desire for something for more because I'm always chasing something. That's just the top of one mountain is just the foot of another for me. I know how I am when it gets to that. But I do a lot. I like to look back. Gratitude journals, all that shit works, bro. I like to look back every week, and then every month I'll try to make a video of all my favorite videos from not even just stand up, like being with friends, hanging out with family, talking to my mom on FaceTime.
No way.
And then you just watch it back. I think if you did that, you'll come to see how much you really do appreciate your life and how much fun you actually have, bro. It's a good time.
That's beautiful.
At first I was sharing it with everybody, but then I was like, I kind of wanted to be personal. Like it was like it's my thing now, so. I used to share it a couple times, and I was just like, God, and I tell people to do it. I was like, guys, take videos, take pictures, take all of it. You see a beautiful sunset, fucking record that shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. Live in it, but take 30 seconds, record it, and then when you put it all together at the end, oh man, it's hard to be upset at your life when you watch that once a month. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I had a good month.
Yeah,
that was a really good one. And then weekly, I'll try to do a gratitude journal. Like, oh man, some really big things happened for me this week. But at the end of the day, and it's just you gotta. I think happiness you have to focus on. You have to focus on being happy. You have to focus on reminding yourself it's the journey, not the destination, right? And I think if you can do that, you can kind of keep your headspace in it. And all these were tools I learned in therapy, by the way. All this was after PTSD, after being hurt, after having I had a badass fucking physical therapist because I was really depressed. I was really low because you got to think you're going from being a war fighter to now I can't even walk. I can't do something. I was doing since I was fucking 1.
Yeah.
And she was just like, all right, do you want to call it here? Do you want to die? And I was like, what? And she was like, because if you're just going to bitch and moan every single day, you're never going to get better. And she's like, if you want to get better, it starts with saying, I want to get better. Do you want to get better? I'm fucking crying and shit. I'm a soup sandwich, bro. I'm fucking pathetic. And I'm just like, yeah, I want to get better. But because, bro, it's not meant to be dehumanizing or demoralizing, but it's like you have to strengthen the muscles around your knee again, right? Because just had all these surgeries and all this shit's happening. And I sat down, and you sit on a stool in the middle of this big therapy with all these other people who are trying to heal, and you have to scoot yourself on the stool around the thing. And bro, I made it like I could only make it like 1 row. And you just feel so pathetic, bro. It's tough.
Shit, man.
But her name's Kiana Wright. She's beautiful. She's wonderful. She fucking got me back, bro. She was playing therapist, physical therapist. She was like, hey, checking on me every once in a while because you get low in those moments, man.
Of course, yeah. Because again, like you said, especially what I think about the sort of like you said when you almost like your peak.
Yes.
Like I mean again, obviously. for someone like yourself who's like military trained, then your peak is even like peaker than my peak.
Yeah.
Or like but then the thing is, it goes back to like, you know, now, like, for example, I think I had I had back problems last year, and but the thing is, for like those weeks when I just like couldn't like walk properly, or like it hurt for me to, because I think when you came, you saw where the bins are.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't walk there and back to take the bin out.
Brother.
So then that to me was like, what's the like? I mean, again, it was like, what's the fucking point for anything else if I can't, you know, like do this thing which you take for granted? So then you take it to a bigger scale where you're like, again, not only that you could have walked to the dumpster to take the bin, you could actually, you know, feeling like be in like different part of the world, you know, and serving for your country, and now you're here and you can't
your
walk.
boys are out.
Yeah,
you're watching them fucking go out. They're sending you, you know, oh, we're thinking about you emails. Get the fuck out of here.
I
bro.
get it, man. Yeah, I see why in those moments you're just like,
yeah.
It again, I feel like it's self-dehumanizing. I think it's very easy for people to do that to themselves, because I know I did it. I know, like I was like,
oh, we all do it. But now there's a beautiful thing on the other side of that too, where especially for me, bro, the worst things in my life have already happened to me. Nothing else can happen that would. The worst thing in my life has already happened. So if that's there and that exists, and I survived that, bro, I can make it through anything else. I can make it through any bombing on stage. I don't give a fuck, bro. It's like I want, like, obviously the pride in me, the ego in me wants you to laugh, but like that doesn't. I got to work tomorrow. Like I had another 2 shows tomorrow. I got another 2 shows the day after that. Like I'm not gonna live in that feeling forever. So I just don't care. That's why I get up and I say, bro, I just don't care enough. Not that I don't care. I don't care in the sense of what you think isn't going to change my perspective of me. I work so hard to have this perspective of me, you know? And it's like, that's what I'm saying. Look, that's the beauty. If the worst thing on the planet that could happen, if the worst possible thing that could happen happened to you and you survived it, what else is out there? What are you scared of? Go try some shit. That's why I always try to tell my nephews and everybody. I was like, bro, go fucking do some shit. Like, just go do it.
Yeah.
Pick a dream and go do it. Right? Give yourself 3 months. Give yourself 6 months. Give yourself 10 fucking years. I don't give a. There's people out here who've been doing the same 5 minutes for 4 years. Just do it. I mean, I don't think they're good, but they've been doing the same. But nah, it's.
No, I again, I feel like it's such a powerful and like such a beautiful, you know, thing to say, and it's also very much. Again, I don't necessarily need to agree or disagree with that, but I do agree, and I think it's very much true. You know, the idea of that like when bad, because I used to, I mean, again, I think in a similar situation where I had like with my my parents like passing away. I had like a whole situation with like when I came to England, I was almost like I was technically not homeless, but I was barely like scraping by and stuff. And then now, like sometimes when I've almost like sometimes I want to get angry. Like say I don't hear back from a booker, or like I see, oh, there is a spot up for grabs, and I apply for it, and I see someone else who got it, and I'm like, a part of me is like, shit, I hate this. I hate everything. But then I'm like, bro, like worse things happen.
Yeah.
And in a like
way
a
worse.
I feel like in a maybe like perverse, you know, way. I'm like, yeah, worse things happen. You know, like that's the least of the. If I were to make a list of bad things that have happened to me,
this is not even going to cross. This is not going to crack top 50.
Yeah, that exactly, and that in those terrible moments, that's one of the things that I love the most, and like and again, it's one of the things that I truly like. It makes me appreciate even the bad moments, because I'm like, you know, again, on a grand scheme of things, it's like between, you know, having like your leg broken and not being able to walk, and not getting a spot, or like, you know, like bombing in front of after like a 10-minute set or whatever.
Yeah,
it's
not
painful to an extent, but it's not painful enough to be like.
I think it's even gotten to the point when it comes to gigs and bookers and stuff like that. I disassociate, bro. I will apply for something, and when I don't hear back, I don't even know how that this works in my head. I don't think that's on me, right? And that could just be the confidence or like what I think I bring to a night. Anyway. Yeah, it's like your night's missing out now. Right? Because I do feel like, for the most part, except in Clapham sometimes, everybody loves me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves me. Everybody gives rave reviews. Like everyone loves me. And then so if you didn't book me, like that's on your show's going to be worse for it, right? And then you know, I'm not. I'm not wishing ill will on any of their comics, but yeah, I hope a couple bomb, and I hope. I think that's just ego. That's just ego. Because I always, bro, there'll be times where I'll get booked and like I won't be headlining, but I'll know I'm better than the people that are going right before me or going right after me, and I'm like, you're putting them in a horrible spot because I'm not headlining. I'm gonna do the best shit I got to make sure that everyone in that audience remembers exactly who the fuck I am, and then I'm just gonna sit back and look, and I'm a hope you can keep up. You know, it's its own.
I see that, and I sometimes I feel like I've got the sort of the same perception where like now sometimes you say I go and do a night, and it doesn't go well, then my goal is to turn it around. Like I want to be the act that turns it around. But then, like you said, sometimes when I'm like, the people after me better like bring their A game as well, because otherwise, like like I said, I will stay there and just watch and be like, was this the same reaction, or was it better, or was it worse? Because otherwise, I'll just be like so. Again, just proud of myself, you know.
I think I'm also I've always been an extremely competitive person. I'm extremely competitive. That's why when I don't get booked for something, I'm able to just be like, okay, that's not on me. If you take me out the game, I can't compete. Yeah. And now if I'm in the game, I'm extremely competitive. I want to be near. I want to be like, oh no, you guys top 3, top 2. Oh man, he was really good. I don't know where I'm placed, right? Like I want people to know. So, and I think I bring that. There's not a lot of competitive people in comedy. There's not.
You think
here?
I think not in a healthy way.
Not in a healthy way. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think I'm a very healthy. I want you to do good.
Yeah.
I want you to do good so that I can try to do better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want that. I don't want to be on a night where everybody bombs and I like save. I hate saving the night, quote unquote. That's not what I want to do. I want everyone to be because I kind of want everyone to be there. There's enough room in this game for everybody to kind of get there at the same time, right? And no one's stepping on my toes. There's no fucking excellent Black American comic over here really doing this thing. Like I'm not pressed about whoever is. I know there's a couple. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah, I would say excellent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not.
Yeah,
I think I get to a point where I'm so unique.
But also, like your USP, even if there is another Black comic,
he's not. Who's good? Got the military. Doesn't have the thing. I'm talking about real shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not just saying jokes about the difference between America and London. But I'm so competitive, but I want everybody to make it. Like I'm competitive because I know you're, and that's what I'll do. I'll write with people, bro. I'll go to writing gyms. I'll do whatever because I want everybody to be good. But when it's game time, like I just know I'm bringing it. Yeah, just know I'm bringing it. I'm extremely competitive in the sport of comedy is what I'll say.
It makes again like I feel like this is that's what I was saying earlier. But like I do agree with you in the respect of like the sort of. Because it's almost like I read books about comedy or like biographies and stuff like this, and you're like you hear about those like again like the healthy competition, which I think is amazing. I love this kind of stuff, like because I feel like I'm a very competitive individual. Yeah, But then when you see that actually it is either like people are competing in the wrong way. Then I'm like, this is because now it's almost like okay, I'm competitive where in the things that I feel like are worth fighting for. Right. Because it's almost like you said, you don't want to be the best comedian on a bad night. You don't want to be the best worst guy in the room. No, exactly. you want to be the best of the best. Yeah. You don't just and I agree with that concept. And I feel like even for the wider audience, sometimes I think if you go to even like a bigger level of like people to make people come back or like people trust live comedy, then you have to put on good live comedy because then because of their bad experiences at one show, they might not go back to watch live comedy for another 6 months. So then if you're say like if I'm not doing well, then you're technically struggling with me. Yeah. Because you can't get people at your show because the people who went to my show were like, you know what? Actually, live comedy is pretty shit these days.
Yeah, you're ruining the whole scene. That's what. Hey, you shitty comics are ruining the whole scene. No, okay.
And with that in mind, we're ending now. But
where we at?
We're over an hour. That's what I was gonna say. Please. Let me know. Well, let me know. Yeah, I was gonna say, where do people find you? Like now it's time to plug.
Yeah, now it's time to plug. Oh, great. I'm Tev the Writer on Instagram. I'm sure I'll be tagged and when all this stuff gets posted and all that. And if you just want to pop up to a show, we run a night called Secretly Pissed once a month. There's 6 comics. One of them is drunk. It's fucking fun. Audience gets to guess which one. So yeah, come out. And we have another night called Mandem Fridays. I always forget about that one, but it's a good one. But it's a very new material night. So like you're gonna see pro comics trying out brand new shit. But it's fun. It's a good time. They're both vibes. Secretly Pissed though. Pull up. You can find that on Instagram. Secretly Pissed Comedy.
And they are both in London.
Both in London.
Both in London.
Both in
Perfect.
London.
Are you doing the Fringe?
I am not. Oh no, I'm going up for a week, but I'm still
Okay.
on I'm just on slots.
Just
So,
okay.
yeah,
Cool,
yeah.
cool, 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 cool. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this. I loved it. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Man.
No, it was great talk. Great talk.
Perfect. I told you. I told you this is a good episode. Right? 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 Like, I hope you enjoyed. I did. I think it was a brilliant. Anyway, look, check out Tev's social media. Um, I will be. I don't know the date yet, but I am going to be on one of Tev's nights, sometimes in June. I think that's what we've June or July. I can't remember the month that uh, we said we'd do that. But yeah, just keep an eye on his social media, my social media. If you're based in London, just so that you can see when we're gonna gig again together for sure. But even if you're not from London, still keep an eye on our social media, because I've also got some really exciting news to share um, about shows from September onwards. So yeah, it's an exciting time. I'm super happy by a few things, actually. Again, coming back to what I said, at the beginning of the podcast about how I'm feeling tired and been working a lot and stuff like this. It's finally feeling like it's coming together to an extent. I still feel like it can be better. I don't want to sound like I am not grateful. I am, but yeah, things are, after they didn't really feel like it, are going on a right trajectory for a while. Or I wouldn't say right. Not necessarily there is a right and a wrong. I'll say it's upwards trajectory, and that's something that I'm so super excited. And I'm grateful because people who listen to the podcast, people who follow and like my work and engage with my work, are people who make it possible for me to be able to um, get more credibility and to get to a wider audience and be able to connect with a lot of cool people. And some of these people are people that you're going to see on the podcast. Some of these people are people that I've got to have meaningful conversations sometimes, because of the fact that, say, they might have listened to the podcast, for example, or they might have seen some of my work online, and then we start exchanging messages. And that's something I'm super grateful for, and it's not something that I perhaps thought of or hoped for when I first started doing this. But even when I say pictured this, or imagine, or whatever the word is, yeah, it still feels quite cool to actually be able to replicate that and to actually be able to really live those things. So, yeah, I'm grateful for everyone for listening. I'm grateful for anyone who's engaging with my work. And yeah, thank you all for listening to this episode. And from me, Pickle and Sarma, until next week, stay skillful. Bye.